Hi everyone, Bernard here from MovieGameNostalgia.com with a little review of a new mini-series. It's only 6 episodes that's just appeared on Netflix. It's called The Letter for the King. It's a medieval fantasy adventure thing, bits of magic and evil, etc, etc in it. Please, if you're new to this little channel, please push your subscribe button, that'd be great. Push the bell notification so you know when these little things are coming out, these movie reviews, TV drama reviews, information, vlogs, etc, etc. And please make sure your notifications are set to public, otherwise you'll not get to hear about these things. Well, yeah, The Letter for the King. I mean, it's causing a few little troubles. It's actually based on a book from around about 25 years ago, and the book was aimed at teenagers and younger readers. And looking at this series, yeah, I mean, it does have that sort of feel to it. It's certainly not Game of Thrones, put it that way. It's certainly not a lot of other things I've watched recently. I'm catching up with the last series of The Last Kingdom at the moment, so it's certainly not on a par with that, and things like Vikings, etc. I mean, it's certainly a little bit of a level down from Netflix. But we've only got 6 episodes, so you don't get too long to get too disappointed, I don't think. I mean, it's about Tiori, who's a teenage squire who answers a call for help that sends him on a dangerous mission across 3 kingdoms to deliver a letter, or obviously a little scroll thing with a letter inside. It's a lot of young people. There's a young cast. There's a few old stagers in it as well. I mean, including Andy Serkis is in it. But we've got people, Amir Wilson, Thaddeus Graham, Islam Buakaz, if I pronounce that right, Jonah Lees, Jack Barton, Nathaniel Salah, and Ruby Ashbourne Serkis as well is in it. So it's quite a young cast. There's a little bit of criticism about the acting quality. I didn't think it was that bad acting wise. It wasn't absolutely up there with the best, but it was okay. Critics wise, well, yeah, it's not overly liked on Internet Movie Database, but the actual critics themselves are not very friendly to it. A lot of them are asking why, basically, and there's hints at series 2, but obviously season 2. But obviously there's a little bit of doubt whether Netflix will carry on with this based on the scores. I mean, the actual individual episodes don't score too badly. There's 6 episodes, and the episode 1 got 6.7, episode 2 6.9. This is all out of 10. Episode 3 6.9. This is Joe Public, you and me. Episode 4 6.9. Episode 5 got a 7, and then the final episode only got a 5.7, which I'll talk about in a moment. But that probably brought it all down and left a little bit of a bitter taste in most reviewers' minds. Overall, the Internet Movie Database rating is just 5.9 out of 10. So if you know me, if something gets a 6, that means it's pretty watchable. So it just fell below the watchable rating, even though some of the episodes did score a little bit higher. I mean, some of the comments that I've seen on Internet Movie Database, you've got little comments like, the last episode ruined it, don't use a good novel for bad television. So there's a lot of love out there for the novel, but not so much this adaptation. Enjoying till episode 5, so that guy today didn't like the last 2 episodes. It's about a heroic horse, so obviously there you go. Dreadful script, poor acting. Starts strong, ends trash. An abomination. Fast-paced, terrible ending. So, I mean, the people who actually bothered writing reviews have been very, very negative. So the actual score of 5.9 probably reflects a lot of people just leaving the score without actually going to the trouble of writing a review. So it actually inspired people to get out there and complain about this. So that can be a bad thing, that can be a good thing. Obviously, in the case of this little series, it's obviously a bad thing. My little thoughts on it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the youngish cast did that badly. Actually, they were okay. The only problem is I didn't really like any of the characters. None of the youngsters really appealed to me from a character point of view. I mean, they acted okay, but I didn't really care less about how they got on, to be honest with you. If they'd all been slaughtered in a heap in a battle or by magic, it wouldn't have really bothered me that much, because I couldn't invest. And with 6 episodes, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard to build up a character. It's hard to build up characters, whether you invest in them and like the characters or even loathe. I mean, to actually dislike characters is just as good as liking a character. It makes you invest in a series. But I mean, having said that, I did watch it and found it quite interesting, but it wasn't one. Oh, I can't wait for the next episode. But I did binge watch it over a couple of evenings. So I sort of watched 4 episodes one evening and two the evening after. So yeah, I appreciate it's aimed at a younger audience, but I think even they might struggle a little bit. If I had a younger say a teenager who enjoys fantasy adventure, medieval adventure, yeah, I think they might just about like it if they've certainly not read the books. But I'll go on to the ending as the last episode, which even on that basis did let it down a little bit. So yeah, 6 episodes was okay. It meant it was fast paced. It meant it kept going quite quickly. Budget wise, it didn't look as though it was a massive budget. Some lovely scenery in certain parts, some lovely snow covered mountains, etc. I haven't got a clue where they filmed it. It certainly wasn't in the UK, that's for sure. But I'm sure they didn't have the budget to go over to New Zealand like the Lord of the Rings guys or anything like that. So yeah, it was a funny one, really. As I said, I did watch it and I got to the end of it and I can understand the criticism. I mean, the baddies and the evil people in it, the baddie characters weren't really bad enough. The heroes weren't really heroic enough. That was the problem with the whole thing. And the actual finale, I mean, if we get onto the last episode and the finale, I mean, it was a bit of a damp squib, to be honest with you. Absolute total, oh yeah, just a meh. What do you say, meh, instead of... yeah, it's such a poor ending. It was such a shame. I mean, you had the little goosebumpy bit right at the end, obviously, where the characters, the heroes, if you like, are getting the reward, etc., for what they've done. But it all became a little bit of a damp squib. The final climatic scene where you thought something fantastic was going to happen, and obviously budget limitations probably came into it, and that's why we got a little bit of a soppy ending. So, yeah. As I say, people are mentioning a season 2 and will it follow the book? As I said, I've never read the book, so apparently this doesn't really follow the book. But that's not unusual in this day and age, is it? And obviously we've got some little PC nods in the series as well, to modernisation nods to make nods to make people happy. So there's certain sequences that certainly weren't in the book that have been added to the film that don't add anything to the story, to be honest with you. They're just needless. You don't have to prove anything, it's just a bit odd that they feel the need to put certain scenes in that don't add to the story, yet it's just to please certain minorities, which it's such a shame in this day and age that things are actually, in my opinion, ruined by that, because let's just go with the flow. If it's part of the story, it's part of the story. If it's not part of the story, don't add it in. You don't need to. That's just not how it is. So my little rating, I'm going to give it, I'm not going to give it quite as high as the Joe Public rating, 5.9. I'm going to give it a 5.5, which is less than watchable. But having said that, I wouldn't say I wasted my time watching the 6 episodes. As I say, there was bits of it I quite liked, but it was that ending that I think knocked everyone down. Reading through the reviews and the comments, I think the ending of the series did disappoint in a little way. It was an ending, it was a finish, but it was just the way they got there. It's just as though, we've only got 1 day left to shoot. We've run out of money. Let's do this as the ending, and it was a little bit disappointing. And if they do a season 2, let's hope they do a little bit better. But as I say, it was not a total waste of time. But I'm sorry, 5.5 out of 10. I won't get it. 6, as you know, is my watchable rating. So, but I wouldn't put you off spending 3 or 4 hours watching it, which is what it probably amounts to. It's and again, if there's nothing else, or go back and watch Game of Thrones from the beginning or something like that, or The Last Kingdom or Vikings or something like that. Which, to be honest, they're up there. I mean, Game of Thrones, Vikings, Last Kingdom. Game of Thrones, Vikings, Last Kingdom, and this thing. Letter for the King is probably down there, so I'll go and watch Neverending Story or something like that, or a multitude of fantasy adventure things. Anyway, thanks for joining me for this. Let me know in the comments what you think if you get to watch The Letter for the King, the new latest Netflix offering. Certainly not the word, and it's not dubbed as well, which is nice. I mean, Netflix are throwing out a lot of dubbed stuff, aren't they? So it's nice that it's actually not a dub thing as well, which also helps. Perhaps gives it that 0.5 score. I would give it a 5 probably, but I'll give it a 5.5 because at least it's not a dub thing that Netflix have just thrown out to fill in the schedule sort of thing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please follow me on Twitter for all the latest movie and TV drama news and information on new releases, etc. That's on @CharlesDineen, DINND DINNWN, or at nostalgia_movie. I mean, I've got 2 accounts. Follow both or either, and I try to follow everyone back. And I'm on Facebook. Links to Bernard. With links to movieGameNostalgia.com. That's Bernard Deneen on Facebook with movieGameNostalgia.com, my little website for old and rare DVDs, little gift ideas for movie posters from the 1990s and 2000s, some classic movies, some great actors, and obviously some board games as well on there if you're into some more retro board games, some of the older board games. There's 1 or 2 new ones on there, but please have a look around the site. I'll give you a thumbs up for that. You spend a couple of minutes just it's good for football as well. So even if you don't buy anything, just get on there, and it helps me get up the rankings on Google. The more people have a look at the site, etc. So thanks for that. Anyway, join me again for something very similar very soon. Whatever you're going to do with the rest of the day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families, and more importantly, let's all look after each other. And this is Bernard. Until we meet again. All the best. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.